What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing two beers from the Willibald Farm Brewery, and they're out of Ayr, Ontario, Canada, and we have their City Slicker and their Cyclops, the Manilita variant. So City Slicker is an IPA that comes in at 6.8% alcohol by volume and no IBUs listed, while Cyclops is a double IPA that comes in at 8.4% alcohol by volume and no IBUs listed. The time of review, both of these cans are just over 5 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel sometimes, and that is Sean for both of these beers, so big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer haul video I did that contains all the goodies that Sean hooked me up with. He hooked me up with two hazy hop forward beers from Willibald, and I'm here to do another showcase review, for lack of a better word. It's basically where I sit down with two beers from the same brewery and just kind of review both of the beers separately. And then at the end, unlike the first time I did this, I'm actually going to do a cuvee, aka that Covey, because I didn't do it in the Wayland Brewing Company review of Astral and their Pub Ale. Forget what they just call Pub Ale. I think it was just Pub Ale. A couple people were like, "Where's the cuvee?" And I'm like, I didn't want to waste the beer, so I brought a separate glass here that we will cuvee these two beers at the end. Anyway, I like doing this, especially when it's a brewery maybe I'd never had before, or maybe haven't had a lot of beers from them. I've had one beer from Willibald, and I reviewed it on the channel back in 2020. It also came courtesy of Sean, and it was their Brick Tour, which was basically a session American stout with toasted coconut. Pretty good for what it was. So now I get a chance to try two hop-forward hazy beers. We got a 6.8% IPA and an 8.4% double IPA, and I know Sean really enjoys Willibald. He's drank a lot of their stuff. It's outside of just being a farm brewery, it's also a distillery. They make seltzers there. They have a restaurant. Apparently, it's a fantastic location. Maybe I'll have to get up there at some point in the future and check it out. But in the meanwhile, we're going to review both of these beers. So we'll put this one to the side for now, and we will crack open City Slicker. We're going to, kind of review them, not like a true side-by-side. We're going to do kind of like individual reviews, but we're going to intertwine them to some degree. So City Slicker is brewed with Citra, Mosaic, Dorado, and New Zealand Cascade, which I think is pretty cool because New Zealand Cascade is such a different beast when comparing it, in my opinion, to regular Cascade. It's almost like a mini Nelson. I get white wine, a little bit of like passion fruit, crazy shit. Anyway, let's give it a pour here. So yeah, that's a hazy for sure. Now again, since I want to save some for the cuvee, we're not going to pour it all in. We'll do something like that. Cuvées can go one of two ways typically, and more often than not, it's kind of stupid to do a cuvee when you really like both beers because it's a crapshoot. Now, Cyclops, Manilita, right? So this is a rotating hop double IPA where they dry hop it with a specific hop. This one's dry hopped with Manilita. They've done, I think, like 6 to 8 other variants of this one. I've never had Manilita showcased as far as a hop goes. I've had it in a couple different beers, but I've never had it showcased. So curious to see how this one is. Now, right off the rip, I can tell this is a bit darker. It's bigger ABV, so that makes sense. Do something like that. There's no reason to make these look exactly the same, but City Slicker, I really do enjoy the label of this one. I like the brightness. I like the yellow. And then Cyclops, very simplistic, but I dig it as well. But you're not here. At least I don't think you are for the cans and the label art. Anyway, beautiful looking beer. That looks like, a hazy from pretty much any hype brewery. Has that milky kind of hop custard look. Christopher, shout out. About a half finger of a off-white, almost like, we'll say eggshell white colored head. Hold it up to the light. You can't see through it. Very murky and turbid. Has a nice deep like yellow into a light orange color to it. It's good nose. That's nice. Just over 5 weeks old, and it has a very expressive nose. There is a ton of like candied peach for me. Candied orange, a sweeter citrus and stone fruit. A little bit of that white wine, almost Nelson influence, even though it's New Zealand Cascade. And yeah, it has a candied hop aroma. There's a slight underlying like doughiness to the malt. There's a real nice like floral kind of zestiness in this one. Slight dank quality as well. Yeah, it smells really nice. It does smell like it might have a little bit of hop burn. Definitely has that freshness to it, just over 5 weeks old. Sure, they're using a bunch of different hops. Yeah, so candied citrus, candied stone fruit, a touch of, you know, that white grape, white wine, and that zesty kind of floral nose. Slight dankness. Really nice. So that was, now this had dissipated to nothing, which is kind of concerning, but at the same time, as long as it tastes good, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that is definitely, you hold these two up like this, right? Without question, this is a bit darker. I don't know if that's going to come off on camera, but it's a bit darker. Not crazy darker, maybe just like one shade darker, but it's definitely a bit darker. It's murky, it's turbid. It kind of looks like this one, just one shade darker. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, this looks more like orange juice with pulp, and this is like orange juice with some pulp. That's at least the way I would describe it based on putting them side by side. Let's get nose. Yeah, completely different. Ooh. This is like dank. Yeah, this is like dank, almost like marijuana-esque, very dank in the nose, but it also has like this passion fruit berry kind of quality to it. Some other nondescript tropical fruits. Honestly, between the two, I think I prefer the nose to the City Slickers. It was a little bit more complex and robust. This is pretty much a couple notes, and can't really smell any of the malts here. Yeah, so honestly, between the two, this is my preference in the nose. Let's get into the taste. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Sean. Oh, man. The finish is kind of weird, but in a good way. Buying this for 6.8%, really nice. This is like higher side of medium, lower side of full. Like it has a heft for 6.8%. It's 6.8, right? Like I'm not, yeah, it's 6.8. That's nice. The mouthfeel is super soft, smooth, and creamy. Absolutely fantastic mouthfeel on this beer. Like absurdly good. Yeah, this might be the best mouthfeel I've had from a Canadian brewery, period, when it comes to hazy beers. Again, I haven't had a lot, but yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. The taste, it's a little bit dialed back from the nose, not as complex. Like right up front, a lot of citrus. Again, more candied orange, candied tangerine. That doughiness I was talking about in the taste, definitely omnipresent, but it's an underlying character, kind of just with you the entire time, but just propping up the hops and never stepping in the way, never becoming too malt-driven. Midway through the palate, I get a little bit of that like white wine, white grape, passion fruit kind of, again, Nelson influence that really isn't Nelson because it's more of that New Zealand Cascade. And then on the finish, why I said it was weird, I'm getting, and none of these hops, as far as I know, really produce a substantial coconut flavor, but I'm getting this slight lingering like coconut. Yeah, very slight lingering coconut on the finish for me. It finishes semi to full on dry. A very mild bitterness. This does lean a little bit sweeter, but the beauty about it is that it's not that sweet to begin with because it's 6.8%. So while it leans sweet, it's like 60-40 sweetness to say bitterness or dryness. So it's not overly sweet. It's not cloying or anything. It just leans a little bit sweet. So if you like your IPAs to lean a little bit sweeter, this would be your jam. I can't get over how awesome the body and mouthfeel. This is one of those beers, again, if the body and mouthfeel, if I was going to drink this beer for one substantial character that I enjoy, it'd be the body and the mouthfeel, specifically the mouthfeel. It's just fucking top notch. This drink's like an 8.5% double IPA, which is what that is. So I'm curious to see what the mouthfeel on this is in the body, because this is great from a body and mouthfeel perspective. 6.8%, you really can't taste it. Yeah, this is nice. I would say the nose was better than the taste, but the body and mouthfeel make up for the lack of complexity in the taste. And I do like, I'm a coconut fiend, so that lingering coconut is really nice. It's very subtle. It's not like, this isn't like pina colada, like there's pineapple, meshing with coconut. It just has a slight lingering coconut finish for me, which is kind of weird, but I dig it. So let's get over to this one, Cyclops Manilita. Again, the nose was a little bit disappointing compared to the City Slicker, but we got to taste it. So cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Sean. Ooh, that is really, really dank. Wow. Like the nose, I thought was going to set me up and it wasn't going to be as dank in the taste, but it has a big dankness to it. Again, marijuana-esque. It's good though. This one is more, believe it or not, and I know this sounds crazy, 6.8%, 8.4. This to me drinks less sweet than this. This has body and mouthfeel though, I don't think are as good. So body on this is right around this. Higher side medium, lower side of full. The mouthfeel, there's a little bit more carbonation. This is mild to moderately carbonated, more approaching moderate. It still has a nice, smooth, kind of creamy sensation, but this is the better of the two mouthfeels. I think this is the winner from the body and mouthfeel standpoint, which is crazy because, again, it's 1.5% lower ABV, but it's more substantial from the body and mouthfeel perspective. However, the taste of this is so completely different that I dig it, but I don't love it. This, right up front, I get a little bit of like a zesty kind of like, I would say like lemon lime. There's also like a candied orange peel. There's a lot of citrus at the forefront. And it passes through. I get a touch of like a red berry. Yeah, red berry, but then there's a little bit of like a passion fruit, a guava. There's something outside the realm that isn't, this is different. This is setting itself apart from the crowd as far as a flavor profile goes. Again, never had Manilita like, you know, as the showcase hop, and this is very interesting. But the finish is where, or I guess the second half of the palate, is where it's kind of unique and fun. It has this really dank marijuana-esque kind of finish, but it's also zesty and like almost spicy. It finishes with a semi to full-on dry finish, very mild bitterness. Neither of these beers are actually bitter at all. They're, you know, very mildly bitter. They're more dry than anything. Again, I think this is a little bit sweeter than this, and I didn't think that would be the case. Maybe my palate's broken today. Maybe it's not. I don't know. That's a fun beer. This is a tasty beer. They're both good in their own right, but this is my preference by a little bit. Man. Rating on these two. Again, here's kudos to this. 8.4%, I really can't tell. Both of them have a little bit of a hop burn on the back of the palate. So pros on this one, body and mouthfeel are outrageous, fantastic, phenomenal. I like that it leans a little bit sweet, but it's not over the top. I like that toasted coconut finish, but it was a little bit of letdown from the nose. The nose seemed a little bit more vibrant. Over here, the taste isn't like blowing me away, but it's different, unique. Body and mouthfeel, a little bit of a letdown compared to the City Slicker, but on its own, I think it's fine. I like that spicy, like dank marijuana kind of vibe on the back of the palate. It hides the 8.4% well. So they're both, again, equally good in their own right, but if I had to choose between the two, like what one do I want to drink the rest of this evening? I'm going to drink both of them over the next like hour and a half, but this would be my winner. Not by a substantial margin, but a good enough margin. So we're going to do the ratings on these. City Slicker from Willibald, I'm going to give this a, I'm going to go high 4.25 and go 4.35 out of 5. That's where this one lands. I think if the nose would have carried over and was a little bit more vibrant, this would have gotten the low 4.5 range. As is, this is a really fantastic, just, you know, 6.8% Hazy IPA, done extremely well. Body and mouthfeel are exceptional. Without that body and mouthfeel, this is probably like a high 4, maybe a low 4.25. It bumps it up like a quarter point. Meanwhile, the Cyclops, I'm going to have to give this a low 4.25 and go 4.2 out of 5. I think it's a really good double IPA. I love the uniqueness to it, but it's not fantastic. The body and mouthfeel are a little bit of a letdown for 8.4. At the same time, it hides the alcohol extremely well, and I just like the uniqueness to it. So I think they're both really good. And then just for, you know, the thumbnails, we'll do something like this. I don't know, like, you know, you guys sometimes see the thumbnails. I use these for on tap too. Does any of this really matter? Not really. Does anybody watch my reviews for the thumbnail? I would probably say no, but you know, who knows? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but we're going to do it. Anyway, so take these two. We'll get the Bellwoods glass out here, and I'm going to pour a little bit of each. And when I mean a little bit, I mean a little bit. You know, I'm not going to pour a ton. Something like this. Do like that. Throw this over here. Then we'll pour some more in here. Like that. All right. So we're going to put this over here, and we're going to do a little bit of a swirl here. Yeah, so that looks pretty much the same as both of them. Again, this was slightly darker. The Cuvée, you know, looks pretty good. But let's get a, well, should I cleanse my palate? We'll do price point availability as I cleanse the palate. Availability, I don't know. Sean, if you want to chime in the comment section. I think he said there's a bottle shop in Hamilton he buys a lot of his stuff from. So I don't know if he's getting the LCBO at all, or you know, you can order online, have them delivered, whatever the case may be. Price point, I think this was like it was very weird prices, $5.09 for this can, and then like $5.53 for this can. If you do the conversion rate, that's pretty much like $3.75 to $4 for this can, and then this one is more like $4.25 to $4.50. Regardless, that's pretty much the going rate here in the US for beers like this. If you get an 8.5% double IPA from Other Half or something, it's like $20 a 4-pack, so $5 American. It's a little bit cheaper if you think about it from that perspective. Anyway, nose. Ooh. That's great because it takes everything I enjoy about this one, but amps it up with that dankness. Yeah, this has more of like a candied, fruity kind of hop component. Yeah, smells good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. No, do not. I'm glad that I only wasted a couple ounces. It's not bad, but there is this substantial, like, almost oxidized, like, finish, like that cardboardy, like, flat kind of, not flat as in the carbonation, but like flat flavor, like just kind of on the second half, just kind of dissipates and you're just left with this like cardboardy, papery, just, it's the second time I've done a cuvee recently where it's just been fucking horrible. I'm gonna drink it. You know, there's only a couple ounces left, and Sean was nice enough to give it to me. But that is why, my friends, I did not want to do cuvee for, like, I didn't want to pour both these because then I'm wasting vast majority of each beer. I'm gonna drink these on their own. So yeah, if you've had anything from Willibald, whether it's these two beers or anything else, let me know. I do know that I do have a decent amount of Canadian viewers, so if you've had anything from them, let me know. I'm really excited to be able to try out a bunch of these Canadian beers courtesy of Sean. Hopefully next year in 2024, I'll be able to get up to some of the breweries, maybe go to the LCBO, maybe go a couple bottle shops and bring home some Canadian stuff. A lot of great Canadian breweries, especially in Ontario, that we do not see here, although we started to get like, is it Brothers Brewing, Blood Brothers Brewing. We're, in addition to getting more Bellwood stuff, including their hop forward, beers. So maybe we'll get some more as we enter 2024. Who knows? But huge thanks to Sean. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another long ass review here on the Beer Patrol. Again, if you enjoy these, again, I call them brewery showcases. Not really, just but sitting down talking about a couple different beers, talking about the brewery. You know, my relationship with them is pretty much nil in this situation. But trying them out for the first time, or in this instance, the second and third time, it's fun to do this. I like doing cuvées. Gives me an excuse to do cuvée, even if it was shit. But I do like these ones. So if you like seeing me review a couple beers from the same brewery, post in the comment section. I know there was about a half dozen of you that did so in that Wayland Brewing Company review. You seem to enjoy it. So something that I'll probably sneak in here maybe once every month or two, just for shits and giggles. So thanks again to Sean. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Yeah, we're going to cheers the cuvée. Shit beer, but this was fun. Cheers.